everybody. Welcome to Build. I am your host, Ricky Camilleri. This Sunday is the 90th Annual Academy Awards celebration hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. Who will take home the gold? Will it be Russell Crowe for Best Supporting Actor for his diabolical turn in Tom Cruise's The Mummy? Will Dax Shepard's buddy comedy with a heart of gold chips win Best Picture? We don't know. We just don't know. Just kidding, those movies are not actually nominated. Here to discuss the movies that are nominated, please welcome senior editor of Rotten Tomatoes, Grae Drake. Let's hear it.
Yay! It is so good to be back.
Thanks for being here.
Oh my God, I'm so pumped. I wore my special animal print.
Were you worried for a second while I was going over that fake list of nominees, or did you know?
Oh my God, I thought I was living like in an alternate universe where Chips was a good movie.
We got a lot of ground to cover here.
Tons.
So let's just get right into it. Let's start with, as the Oscars do, Best Supporting Actress. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you want to win?
Okay, Allison Janney has won nearly everything. And so how many of you guys have seen I, Tonya? Okay, we're getting some hands, some small claps. That's not enough claps. Everybody has to see I, Tonya. Because it's a story about Tonya Harding, and she plays Tonya Harding's mom, and she's a complete monster. This woman's horrible, and I loved her. Yeah. And I was like, yes, I am a horrible person, but I'm on board with it.
So you want Allison Janney. You also want Allison Janney. You're
I'm good. I'm pro.
You're Team Janney.
I'm Team Janney, and...
Can I tell you something?
Yeah?
Team Metcalf over here.
I wouldn't argue with you for a second.
On Team Lori
Metcalf. You have a supporter in the corner,
Thank
just
you.
one though. I just want to point out it's just one person.
How many people here saw Lady Bird? Right.
Yeah. More.
How many people loved the mom in Lady Bird and also loved the show Roseanne? Are you?
Yes.
That seemed like you guys were just doing that to placate me.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
Crazy. It's Roseanne.
Right. I would never ever be upset if Lori Metcalf won because she was spectacular, playing a really different kind of mom, like one who's actually like a decent human being, just neurotic. But she just hasn't won anything else.
Crazy to me.
It is crazy, and so. I'm bummed out that she's finally been nominated, but I can't throw my support behind her.
She's sort of finally gotten the recognition that I think she's deserved for so long as an actress. She finally got the part, you know?
Yes, for the Scream movie that she was in as well, she needed recognition. She was awesome in that movie. Was it Scream 3 that she was in?
Scream 3?
Hell yeah, she was. The one with Jerry O'Connell. I don't know the number, but it doesn't matter because she's amazing.
Jerry O'Connell was in a Scream movie, of course.
Yes, and he's singing on a table, but he was not nominated, so he's not part of this conversation. Take a deep breath.
Let's move on to supporting actor. I think it's pretty clear who's going to take home the gold here. What do you think?
I love how you set me up for this just so you can tell me that I'm full of it.
Really? No,
I don't know. I felt like you were setting me.
He's won everything,
He's won everything,
Janney.
And it's Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards. Yes. So this movie I saw very early on. And I was blown away by how quickly the emotions would change in this film. 1 minute I'm laughing and the shot would change and I'm like, oh. And it was such a beautifully written film. And then when it started winning a whole bunch of Golden Globes, people got really mad at it on Twitter and there was a lot of backlash. And some of the comments were that this is a movie where not a lot of change happens. The characters don't necessarily have a lot of arcs. Mm-hmm. That just made it feel realistic to me. Yeah. And that is why this is like the buzzkill portion of this conversation, I guess.
I love 3 Billboards. I've seen it a couple times. We had Martin McDonagh here.
Twice?
Yeah. I think it's a...
God, you must be fun at parties, Ricky. Like
me at parties is literally like, I gotta go. I'm going to see a movie. Nice to meet you guys. I'm out of here. I'm going to sit in a movie theater by myself. Because that's where I'm comfortable. I love 3 Billboards. I think it's a masterclass in twists and plotting. And, you know, it may not be a masterclass in character arcs, but what it does do is it's always going in a direction you never see coming.
Oh, yeah, it's killer. I mean, and Sam Rockwell's unbelievable, and he's been good forever. Yes. Also nominated from the same movie, Woody Harrelson, who's also been amazing. I keep having to remind myself that this is not just the dude from Cheers, and he's been showing us that consistently over the years, yet I still forget. He was Larry
Flint. First nomination, is it?
No.
Okay.
He's won before too, if I recall, but it's like he's been nominated for tons of stuff, and like he was Larry Flint. He was in that movie about the bad cop.
Natural Born Killer.
All those movies. He's good. I think they're going to split the vote.
You think so?
I think because they're both so great in that same movie, I think this is the category where maybe Willem Dafoe for the Florida Project is going to be like, "What's up?"
Oh wow.
Wah, wah,
Oh, I'd wager with you on that one. I think Rockwell's going to take it.
Again, it's likely statistically, but every time that I see two strong performances from the same movie nominated, I'm like, ooh. So.
So let's see. What else do we have here? We have Best Animated, Coco, right?
Boss Baby.
Oh.
No, it won't win.
Okay. Isn't that Boss Baby? Is that Boss Baby or no? There isn't a Boss Baby 2 yet. The first.
Yet,
just the
but
first
it's
one.
happening. I'm so pumped. Am I the only one in this room that loved Boss Baby? Thank you. Thank you, smart person in the back. Boss Baby was so fun and so bizarre and written by the same guy that wrote Undercover Brother. And it's like, what? That's amazing. I grabbed that director by the lapels and demanded an explanation.
Why it was so good?
God, I've talked more about Boss Baby than I did about Inception. Like, what a great movie. But it's not going to win. Coco's definitely going to win. It's a Pixar movie. The last 10 minutes should make you cry unless you have no soul.
Best Original Screenplay.
Original?
Billboard.
3 Billboards.
Right.
I think for sure. And Martin McDonagh wrote that role for Frances McDormand. And it shows. It really shows. She's so crazy good. And she's going to win Best Actress.
Best Adapted. We'll get the actress. Don't skip ahead. Don't skip ahead.
I just wanted to share. I just want to say it more than once.
Yeah.
Adapted, I think, will be Call Me By Your Name.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a beautiful movie. And it was... Essentially, it's like paying $12 to take a trip to Italy in 1983.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it really evokes like such an amazing sense of place, such a beautiful story.
For my money, Call Me By Your Name and Phantom Thread were my favorite films of the year.
Oh, right. Yeah, you know, because you like those just fancy schmancy movies about people drinking tea, which I get.
That's true. That is true.
Right, and I'm into that because, I mean, I love Paul Thomas Anderson just as much as the next guy and gal. Phantom Thread didn't like hit a huge bullseye with me, but what I did love about it was that it's comprised of so many teeny tiny microscopic moments that all of a sudden, like the smallest look from an amazing actor like Daniel Day-Lewis turns into a huge deal. So like he's sitting across the table from his co-star, and then he just kind of is like, and you're like, ooh, it becomes like a thing. It's not easy to do.
It's also so weird and funny, which is not something that you expect when it starts. You kind of think you're going to be sitting through this kind of chamber, like, you know, period chamber piece that's going to be about a designer, but it's actually kind of mocking him a lot of the time and very funny.
He doesn't get away like scot-free. The whole movie is basically about like what a jerk he is for kind of using these women as his muse and then tossing them aside until he meets his match.
Isn't it funny when they finally get the best of him?
Yeah, right. And it feels like a more feminist movie than I think it's given credit for. Yeah. And it's beautiful too. It's like, you know, I'm like, wow, yeah, I want like a fancy ball gown designed by this guy that hides little messages in the lining. I'm like looking in my clothes. I'm like, do you think Zara put anything in the lining of my dress? No? Okay.
It just helped me. Get me out of this. Okay, so speaking of Daniel Day, Best Actor, he is nominated. Probably not going to win this year.
No, I think that Daniel Day-Lewis and Meryl Streep are just in a movie, and the Academy automatically puts them in the running for the Oscar because they're just it's like a given. They're always going to be great.
Said he is very, very good.
He really is. Yeah. I mean, and it's not to diminish his ability at all, but let's give Gary Oldman an Oscar. That has been the most deeply satisfying part of this whole Oscar time for me, because this is what I do. I go around and talk about nominations. And I've just been like, hey, everybody, if you had a vote, you should cast it for Gary Oldman, because he's been turning in like 30 years of amazing performances in all these different kinds of movies, unrecognizable from one to the other almost. And we have never given him a statue.
And he's pretty amazing in this movie.
So amazing. It's so much more. When he plays Winston Churchill, it's so much more than just a fat suit and makeup. You know, it's so much more than that. It's really incredible. It made like history interesting to me, which is like a feat in itself.
I'm sorry.
I was like, oh, World War II, snooze.
But I remember when I watched that film, within 5 minutes, it was kind of like, oh, he's going to win the Oscar. This is just no one's going to do anything like this actorly good this year.
Right.
You know?
You know what, though? This is another time where I get a little spooked by how many awards he's won and how he is a lock. And when people start using that phrase, like when I'm in LA wearing athleisure wear and drinking kale juice like we all do, and people start saying, Oldman's a lock, I'm like, ugh, that means that people are going to vote a different way because they think everyone else is voting for the lock. And so...
We saw how that went last November.
Boy.
Sorry.
Right? Wah, wah, wah. And
Talking about the election.
yeah, that's the election, everybody.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember November 2016.
Political. And I think Timothée Chalamet is the guy to win if somehow the greatest upset in Oscar history happens and Gary Oldman doesn't win.
Can I tell you the greatest upset in movies this year was when I saw Call Me By Your Name, people were leaving during the credit sequence. Like, it was a normal credit sequence. I mean, that's his scene where that's why he's nominated, is because of that moment in the film. And, like, I'm sitting there watching the movie, he's crying his eyes out in this beautiful moment, and people are like, oh, good movie.
Right,
Okay,
they're like,
get outta
peace.
here.
Have you guys seen Call Me By Your Name? Okay, I'm getting some nods. Did you stay for the credits? Show of applause. Okay. Thank you. You. Because it's like, watching Timothée Chalamet stare into that fire, made me question my life choices. Not about staying for the credits, but in a bigger way, where I'm like, what am I doing with my life, and where's love for me, and do I need another log in the fire? Like, it was like a lot.
Why didn't I have these wonderful parents?
Oh my God. And the scene there's a scene, I would encourage you guys to check it out. It's a very different film. And Michael Stuhlbarg, the team champion of so many movies this year, has this scene in Call Me By Your Name that just...
He was robbed of a nomination.
Oh my God. Blew my mind. I've thought about it ever since November when I first saw the movie, and I desperately want to see it written down so I can use it kind of as a blueprint for my life and how I treat people and how I live. Yeah. It's unforgettable. One of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Let's move on to Best Actress.
Yes.
Frances McDormand.
Say it again. Frances. Mostly, not only because she's spectacular in 3 Billboards, but also because... give her a microphone and let her go. Yeah. Do not stop her. Don't play her off. I just want to hear what she has to say on Sunday, March 4th. Because
I bet she ends up giving a fairly tame speech at the Oscars.
You think?
You think she'll go? She said that she keeps her politics private.
Huh?
She keeps. You think
she does?
You think she'll go off?
I really deeply hope that she will.
I mean, has she said anything that wild on the campaign trail?
She hasn't, and it's not so much that it's like totally bananagrams what she says. It's just that she's so good at being in that moment and being present and just sort of like saying whatever comes into her brain at that exact second. I don't believe she ever really wrote any speeches ever. And I love that. I just like the fact that she can read the room and say something, and while she's doing it, she's wearing an outfit that, like, definitely did not come from a designer because she does not care about that stuff. And I just like that honesty.
Because she seems to be a lock, and as you said before, people sometimes tend to vote differently because someone seems like a lock, who do you think the second choice there would be?
Saoirse Ronan.
Really?
Yeah, I like to sing her name to cover up that I'm scared to say it all the time. Yeah. But she is so good in Lady Bird.
I thought she deserved it for Brooklyn, personally. I loved Brooklyn.
She's amazing. She's gotten, like, is it 3 nominations?
Her third nomination, right? And for Atonement and Brooklyn and now Lady Bird.
Yeah, and she's like 25, so it's like, what am I doing with my life?
She's our new Meryl Streep.
She's our new Meryl, our new Irish Meryl. Yeah. And she's a delightful human. I think she's so talented, and I'd love to see her win, because also her winning the Golden Globe was dope.
Did Jennifer Lawrence get nominated for Mother? She did not, right?
No.
Well, I was gonna say if she did, then like Jennifer Lawrence is definitely our Meryl because
Yeah.
that would mean that she's just like movie came out, ching, throw her in the Oscars.
Yeah, exactly. And I snort whenever Mother is mentioned because I loved it. And I loved it because it was crazy. And they were selling it as a horror movie. And when I watched it, it was clearly not a horror movie. And I walked out just going, everybody's gonna be so mad. And I knew that we would have these amazing conversations about it and the symbolism in it and all. I mean, if I had been in film school watching Mother, I would have lost my mind. Could you imagine all the late night conversations in coffee shops?
Mother made me mad.
Did it? Oh, God, I can't wait to talk to you about this then.
Not because I expected it to be a horror movie. I knew what it was, and it was what I knew what it was going to be,
Sure.
and it still made me quite angry.
Oh, my God, I love it. I love movies like that because I see so many films. You do, too. And are you like me when you see something that you finally have a strong opinion on, that you find it memorable?
It
because
depends.
The majority of films for me, I walk out and I'm like, cool. And I only remember it in broad strokes from that point on. Then there's stuff like Mother. Then there's stuff like Boss Baby. I can't believe I just mentioned those two movies in the same sentence. And I remember them because I had such a strong reaction and I had so many passionate arguments about them. That's so great. Like, that's what cinema's all about. That's why I like working for Rotten Tomatoes. Because we're all about, like, is it fresh or rotten? Who cares? What did you think?
Can I tell you, that's why I think I haven't been that excited for a movie like Lady Bird this year, which I liked, but I haven't been able, none of the conversations, I haven't had one great conversation about that movie. It's all been, I liked it too. And then we're kind of like, and that's sort of it.
It's not very divisive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's just like a very pleasant, like, oh.
But even as something that's people love, it's just pleasant. I don't find anybody, like Call Me By Your Name, everybody I've talked to loves it. And when we talk about it, it's like, oh my God, that scene, and it was so beautiful, and I cried so much. And later it's like, oh, it's nice. It was a very nice movie, yeah. Do you want food now? What do you want to do?
Yeah, moving on. And you're like, okay, good. But then, I mean, in the Best Picture category, you see something like Get Out. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh.
It's so cool that it's there.
Can we please give this movie an Oscar?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to win, but if there was another crazy upset, I would love to recognize so many things about this movie. What a clever, interesting movie that's a horror movie, that's a social commentary.
It'd be so cool for them to give it to a genre film like that. Something that, I mean,
cool.
like you could
'Cause
call
it's
Shape
so
of Water a genre film, but it's not really. Get Out is very deeply a genre film.
God,
It's a
and
horror
could you imagine being like the people at Blumhouse that like read Jordan Peele's script? He's so smart, he's so talented that they were like, this is going to be a really good movie, guys. And then fast forward, and they're like, oh my God, we have like 3 Oscar nominations? What?
Right. The movie cost $5 million to make, I think. So they were kind of like, this is a good script. We'll give you like $5 million. Go give it a shot. And then it made like $300 million or something.
That gives me faith in the process. That makes me excited about what's happening in our world right now. I love that message because it's the only way Hollywood listens is by money.
Yeah.
And so I love everyone paying to see the film numerous times, streaming the film, talking about the film. Like, you can watch it numerous times and just pay attention to one different thing the whole movie, and you get a completely different read on the picture. It's like, watch it once and enjoy it, and then watch it a second time and just watch Allison Williams. And then you're like, oh, that's different from the last time.
Let's move on. Real fast, Best Director. Who do you think's going to get it?
Guillermo del Toro.
Going to get it. And you also, I think you think that Best Picture, Guillermo as well, right?
I think so. I think Shape of Water. Now, this is, I could argue with myself for a lot longer than we have left here today, but I think that movie has won a ton of awards. It has the most nominations out of any movie this year. Lucky number 13. And I think it's going to win. I thought it was so creative, so unusual, and it still had the kind of awardable things that movies need to have. Production value, prestige.
I would like to see Sally Hawkins actually win Best Actress, more so than even, and I love Frances McDormand. I thought Sally Hawkins was my favorite part of The Shape of Water. She's really my favorite part of any movie that she's in. She's in one of the most incredible actresses that we have. I would love to see her win.
She's unbelievable, and
She's the most Oscar-worthy part of that whole movie.
She's such a treasure, and she is also in Paddington and Paddington 2, and Paddington 2 recently became the best reviewed film of all time on Rotten Tomatoes. Which is so awesome. And if you haven't seen the Paddington movies, it's like treat yourself because they're so good. And she's amazing. She can do anything. And she really did elevate that movie. She's mute in the film and she's so emotional. And shout out to Doug Jones, who this is like the best actor whose face you practically never seen. He's like Abe Sapien. He's the Silver Surfer. He was the creepy hand face guy in Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, right.
Doug Jones is everywhere, and he's the fish. He's the amphibian man, is I think officially what they call him. But I just call him my sexy hot fish boyfriend.
So if so, do you think?
Have you thought about, by the way, like what a great year it's been for fish? So stay with me. So we've got Doug Jones in Shape of Water, but then we've also got Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and I'm like, buy me an aquarium yesterday. Like, holy crap.
Because he's so hot?
Obviously.
So someone's, yes.
Yes, we've got, yes. My boss baby friend back there, too. You have immaculate taste.
So before we wrap it up, Best Picture, you think it's probably a toss-up between Shape and Three Billboards, or it's most likely going to go to Shape of Water?
Well, it's at this point, this is a tough one for me to say because all of a sudden, go back to the kale juice and the athleisure, and people are like, Three Billboards. And it seems like it has a lot of muscle. And it has won also a comparable number of awards in different arenas.
They just won the BAFTA. They won a ton of awards at the BAFTA, right?
And that's the thing. So any year, what we do is we statistically look at the math. We look at what things have won, and we look at how that compares to other years and other winners. And this year, more so than others, like all bets are kind of off. So I have failed in helping you with your Oscar pool picks, because I could make a case for several things, and so that's fun when we're talking about it.
And now one of the reasons that all bets are off this year, right, is because a whole new pool of Academy voters have been moved into the Academy because they were trying to make the Academy more diverse.
Yeah, right? So it's like, finally not a bunch of old white dudes? Yeah. Great idea, guys.
So it's
yes, exactly.
What is it, like 17 or 18% of the Academy is all of these new members, right?
I don't know about the statistic, but I do know that there's a huge influx of new members, and I think that shows that this is everything that's happening this year is a step in the right direction. I'm still sore over the fact that we didn't see any nominations for Wonder Woman. I think that was an Oscar-worthy. Don't mouth the words "come on" to me. How dare you?
Come on.
But I'll tell you what's going to happen.
Grae, come on. I liked Wonder Woman, but come on.
Next year, we're going to be talking about Black Panther. And I am so excited for that. It's like the costumes and of course, the technical categories, but I love the fact that Chadwick Boseman is the least interesting character in this huge pool of amazing supporting characters that I just want to like dig into. I already can't wait for the next one. Oscars. And that's
for next year. You're done with this year's
Oscars. I'm done. I don't even care. Let's just talk about this.
It usually happens like last month for people who cover the Oscars. By February 1st, before the nominations even come out, people who have to cover the Oscars are like, I'm done. Get it over
so
with.
Done. Yeah, exactly. Well, and because I think that it gets to be a little bit of a snooze fest sometimes. Because we're like, yeah, okay.
Films winning awards again and again and again.
I see Phantom Thread. Okay, yeah, obviously it's going to get Academy Award nominations, snore. And then I'm like, Get Out. Oh, my God. I hope this gets Oscar nominations. And it did. It was nominated. It came out February of 2017. It was nominated in December. And that's so rare.
Who do you think, before we wrap up, will give the best speech of the night?
Oh, my God. Well, I am really looking forward to an opening by Jimmy Kimmel. I'll say that. Because as far as speeches go, it's like, I think that everybody pretty much plays by the rules. I think that all these winners are like, I don't know. I don't see anybody like randomly kissing anybody or anything like that. I live for those moments. Jennifer Lawrence isn't there to trip up a set of stairs, so I'm like...
Michael Moore's not going to get an Oscar.
Right. And so...
Want that.
By the way, though, like, pay attention to all the, like, the foreign film categories, documentary, because those people have their finger on the pulse, and they're the ones that say some controversial stuff.
Because they don't expect to be back.
Right.
And they want to tell Americans what's up with the rest of the world.
And then
They're like, hey, guys, what's going on with you over here? This is crazy.
And they're like, and the band starts to play, and they're like, no, I have something to say, and I'm gonna keep going really fast, blah, blah, blah. And it's so awesome.
I forgot to thank people. I was just yelling at everybody.
It's so great. But I'm looking forward to an opening by Jimmy Kimmel because I think that he's gonna be working 87% harder because of the last year's Best Picture mess up by Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. Because it's like, listen, Bonnie and Clyde don't live by your rules.
Who's announcing Best Picture this year? Do we
not
know?
them. I have no idea, but the pressure is on. And I'd love to just hang out with that dude that screwed it up last year. Because, like, apparently he was taking, like, a selfie of, like, Emma Stone or something and gave them the wrong thing. And it's like, dude, you had one job. Like,
he was like one of those Price Cooper guys that they trot out on stage and are like, these are our accountants.
Right. What? And listen, that year I got my taxes done and I went in there and I was like, so... I think
not
that,
La La Land, my taxes.
Hell no.
Yeah.
And so I think Jimmy Kimmel has the ability to address things that are going on. He doesn't hide from stuff, yet he brings that heart, you know?
So we don't know who's announcing the Best Picture.
I don't.
You know who I think it is? You know who I just thought of it right now.
Tell me.
Guessing? Leo and Kate. 20 years Titanic.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
You heard it here first. I don't know that at all.
And
I think that would be a good one.
Okay, but here's
years.
the thing, though. 20 years later, and now we have to have Kate standing behind him and being like, I'm queen of the world.
That'd be pretty good.
That's current. You're welcome.
There it is. Grae Drake, everybody. Rotten Tomatoes. Check it out.
Thank you.
The Oscars are on Sunday night.